News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. Tropical cyclone Auring has further strengthened into a severe tropical storm as it moves closer to Surigao del Sur. Gemma Vansenia is joining us live from Hinatuan in Surigao del Sur to give us the latest on how the town is preparing. Gem, good afternoon. How's the weather right now there in Hinatuan?
Charles, Davao, and Caraga regions continue to experience light to moderate with sometimes heavy rain since last night. But according to Pagasa, this is due to northeast monsoon. The weather condition might get worse as severe tropical storm Auring is approaching and is expected to make landfall on Sunday over the Caraga region. Local government units are gearing up for the possible landfall as early as now. In fact, here in the town of Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur, officials are already conducting preemptive evacuation for the residents in Maua Island. But James Soria, MDRRMO Chief of Hinatuan, said most of the residents there refused to heed their advice. Thus, they asked the PNP and Coast Guard's help so that they could evacuate the affected families. Meanwhile, in Agusan del Sur, PDRRMO head Armando Gomez said their rescue units are already on standby but no preemptive evacuation yet as of this time. Charles, according to MDRRMO Hinatuan, the residents of Maua Island still refuse to evacuate as of this time. Soria said he will talk with the mayor to address the said concern. Charles?
Thanks for that, Gem. That was Gemma Vansenia reporting to us live from Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur. Parts of Mindanao are now under tropical cyclone wind signal number 1. A severe tropical storm Auring moves closer to land. These include Davao Oriental, the eastern portion of Davao de Oro, the eastern portion of Agusan del Sur, and the entire province of Surigao del Sur. To give us more updates on STS Auring, we have on the line Chris Perez from the Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center. Good afternoon, Chris. Could you tell us where STS Auring is now located?
Good afternoon, Charles. So far, as of 10 o'clock this morning, severe tropical storm Auring was estimated at about 535 kilometers east-southeast of Hinatuan, Surigao del Sur. It has a maximum sustained wind of about 95 kilometers per hour near its center and of up to 115 kilometers per hour. It is moving southwestward slowly. Now, Auring is expected to make landfall over the Dinagat Island, Siargao area by Sunday morning and will traverse the Visayas area between Sunday to Monday. So we are expecting more provinces to be placed under warning signal as severe tropical storm Auring moves closer towards the country this coming weekend. Pagasa is issuing a 6-hourly update. The next update will be at 5 p.m. today. And that's the latest here in Pagasa. I'm Chris Perez reporting.
All right, Chris, this morning we discussed that Auring was not expected to intensify into a typhoon. Is this still the case?
Yes, we're not expecting Auring to intensify further or develop into a full-blown typhoon category. However, it still remains a threat over the Visayas, Southern Luzon, and Mindanao coming weekend. That is why, as I said earlier, there will be additional provinces with warning signals. The threat of flash floods and landslide and strong winds are still there. So basically, our kababayan over the central and southern part of the country should continue to monitor and coordinate with their local government and disaster risk reduction managers regarding disaster preparedness and mitigation measures.
All right, we just reported that there are certain communities who have refused to evacuate us yet. Are we expecting Auring to bring in heavy rainfall? And do we have any reminders to residents in those areas that will be affected?
Yes, we have to remind everybody, especially those in the direct path of the storm, to be alert against possible flash floods and landslides, and also strong winds associated with Auring, because we have to prepare for both scenarios, no? The heavy rains that may cause floodings over low-lying areas and landslide in areas near the mountain slopes, as well as the strong winds that will tree electric posts and destroy houses of weak or light material. So we have to prepare for both scenarios and listen to the local officials and disaster risk reduction managers.
Thank you, Pag-asa weather forecaster Chris Perez. We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. The Health Department says the so-called mutations of concern detected in Region 7 should not affect the metro. But Secretary Duque said the government should now be more careful about easing restrictions. Let's get more details from Greg Gregorio reporting to us live from Mandaluyong. Greg, what do we know so far about these so-called mutations of concern? And at this point, we're not calling this the Philippine variant just yet, are we?
Charles, experts are saying that while developing a local variant is possible as mutations of a virus is normal as long as transmission is ongoing, we can't say just yet that these mutations detected in Central Visayas is already a Philippine variant, because as per the definition, it would take a group of 10 to 17 or more mutations before it can be called a variant. Now, with these two mutations detected in the Central Visayas, which are E484K and N501Y, the Philippine Genome Center said we still have to continue monitoring and investigation to determine what would be the significance of these mutations into our intervention against this pandemic. Charles?
Greg, just to be clear, these are completely distinct variants that have been detected apart from the UK variant, right? So how many of these mutations have been detected so far, and in what provinces?
Charles, there are two mutations detected in Central Visayas. The Philippine Genome Center did not identify from which provinces in Region 7 did it come from, but it has been earlier reported by the DOH Region 7 that these samples were from Lapu-Lapu City, Mandaue, Cebu City, and other parts of Cebu, and other parts of the province of Cebu. Now, as to the other question, if this is related to the UK and South African variant, according to Dr. Cynthia Saloma of the UPPG, the UP Philippine Genome Center, the E484K mutation is part of the UK variant, while the N501Y mutation is part of the South African variant. Now, even though they are related to these variants, it can't be said just yet that these mutations would also bring same impact as to these variants that have been affecting other countries as we are speaking. Charles?
Right, Greg, I was about to ask you whether we know whether these mutations are deadlier or whether they spread faster than the SARS-CoV-2 virus that we've been dealing with for the past year. But then really what I want to know is how will this affect now the move towards MGCQ?
Charles, according to Secretary Francisco Duque of the Department of Health, if you're talking about putting the National Capital Region into the under modified general community quarantine, these detection of two mutations in the Central Visayas would not affect the decision if we will going to put the NCR or Metro Manila under MGCQ. However, we would have to be more careful as we are easing these restrictions into opening up more of the economy. What we have to do is strengthen our interventions against this pandemic as we are also opening up the economy. Charles?
Right, Greg, do we know whether the vaccines that are currently under development would be effective to protect against these mutations of concern?
Charles, according to our experts, while mutations do affect one's ability to develop immunity or antibodies, we don't have enough information yet if these mutations that we have detected here in the country, in particular in Central Visayas, would affect the vaccines that will be used in the country. Thus, we would need further investigation to the health significance of these mutations. Charles?
All right, let's focus on the things that are within our control. What are the LGUs in the region doing to detect and possibly quell the spread of these new mutations?
Charles, according to Dr. Jaime Bernades of the DOH Region 7, they're currently doing active case finding, contact tracing, back tracing as part of their investigation in order to determine whether there is a linkage amongst these individuals whose samples tested positive, whose samples showed mutations, which according to which has been detected by the UP Philippine Genome Center. But as of now, investigations are ongoing and they would give us further information as they become available. Charles?
Right, Greg, is the Department of Health Regional Office in Central Visayas recommending a shift to a tighter quarantine classification? Are there any alarm bells that are being rung here?
When Dr. Bernades was asked about this or about their community quarantine restrictions, the Central Visayas is under MGCQ. According to Dr. Bernades, they would need 2 more weeks to monitor if they would need to recommend a stricter quarantine restriction in their area. Charles?
All right, Greg, do we have any other concerns or salient points raised at the DOH briefing today?
Plus, according to experts, while we have already detected other mutations here in the country, the mode of transmission of the virus is still the same. It's still with the droplets. Thus, the compliance or adherence to the minimum public health standards would still be helpful in our ways to prevent ourselves from having infected or from having been infected by the SARS-CoV-2, which is the causative agent of COVID-19. Charles?
Thanks for that, Greg. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Mandaluyong. 24,000 residents of San Juan City have signed up for the LGU's vaccination program. But this is still way short of the city government's plan to inoculate 85,000 residents. To give us more details, we have JC Cosico reporting live from San Juan. JC, how is the San Juan government planning to improve vaccine confidence?
Charles, in a bid to boost the vaccine confidence that was really conducted in on-the-ground vaccination campaign. Personnel from the LG visited Barangay Once today and went house to house to encourage residents to receive COVID-19 jabs. They were given leaflets that contained answers to frequently asked questions on the vaccines. Roving teams also had tablets with internet access so that residents can register for the vaccine on the spot. But authorities explained that this is just to reserve their slot, but residents will still have the option to back out as the vaccination program will remain voluntary. Some residents signed up for the COVID-19 jabs while others refused as they were concerned about its possible side effects. To date, at least 24,000 residents have so far signed up for the city's local vaccination program. The city targets to inoculate 85,000 residents to achieve herd immunity. Charles, the city is among the LGUs that signed deals with British drug maker AstraZeneca for the procurement of jabs. Earlier, Mayor Francis Zamora also wrote to the DOH asking the agency for him to be allowed to receive the jabs first. Back to you.
Thank you, JC Cosico reporting live from San Juan. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join Sean Yao later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.